Reno Sorbonne, proprietor chef at Heritage. Mayo was eating like antelope tartare at some Tampa restaurant. Have you ever dabbled in any like one of these Anthony Bourdain type of things? Have you ever done any kind of Bourdain type of dishes at any of your restaurants? So where you got something that nobody would ever in their right mind order unless they were on some kind of hallucinogenic drug.
Listen,
they don't tip well.
People, right? You get the people that are hallucinating and just like losing their minds, or you're going to get these very sophisticated people that claim themselves as foodies, and I automatically want to throw them the fuck out. Listen, public service announcement. Stop saying you're a foodie. That just means you're an asshole. That's all that means. That's all that means.
Substitute asshole.
No, you're not. You're just really fucking opinionated. Eat and shut the fuck up and enjoy. Did you like it or not? Fuck.
That's me.
With you, 1,000%. Yeah. Mayo used to be insufferable like that. Then he started admitting that he ate Skyline chili as a matter of choice. Reno, we love you, man. All right, see what you can do on the ticks. We won't press it any further. I mean, if you give us a call out of the blue.
My best to get there even myself. I'll let you know.
All right, my friend. Always a pleasure. Guys. We'll have to get in there and see you soon.
Cheers. Let's go, baby. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, Reno Sorbonne, proprietor chef at Heritage.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
You talk about being conflicted, huh? Is he able to separate himself from it? I mean, how's he going to work a Saturday night at Heritage? Reno Sorbonne, our good friend.
I don't know.
Outstanding chef, innovative, creative chef, and does a great job there. Heritage, everybody thinks it's just one of the great restaurants of all time. Small place, right? I mean, it's not like he's serving hundreds of people at the same time, and it does a dynamite job. But how do you just work through it if you're that tied into the Florida Panthers? I mean, brother-in-law of Roberto Luongo, you would imagine he's close with his sister, and that she's going to be, talking about how important this series is. You have a chance. I mean, this could be, they always talk about it. Remember Danny Boy when he went to the Super Bowl? What was that? Was that in the 85 season?
84, 85.
84,
no, 84,
first year in the league?
84.
That was his first year in the league, right?
It was second. Wait, was his first year?
He got drafted in 83. 84 was his first year. No, 83 was his first year. Yeah, exactly.
It was his.
So it was 84.
It was either his second year in the league, first year starting, or second year starting. I don't know.
Well, he became a starter during his rookie season. Remember what they have? Did they still have Woodstock back then?
They had Woodstock, and they bridged that to starting. Because I remember it was his second year, and they don't talk about it like it's his second year starting. They always talk about it like he came on the scene and fucking torched the league.
He did. It was great. I remember losing money on that game as Marino goes to the Super Bowl. But they played the 49ers, right?
Yes.
With Marcus Allen. Did they have Marcus Allen back then?
Marcus Allen. They had Roger Craig. And
Roger Craig. Yeah, Roger Craig. And Wendell Tyler had a big game. Wendell Tyler. Yeah.
Fucking, it was ridiculous. It was stupid.
Roger Craig, I still remember this because it's just a vivid impression that it left. Jay Brophy was our middle linebacker. I think we might have been playing a stupid 3-4 back then. One of the middle linebackers, though, inside linebackers, was Jay Brophy, who was a first-round pick out of the University of Miami. And as a college player, he was great. I don't know that he was that good as a pro. But Roger Craig literally had Jay Brophy's head spinning like Linda Blair's in The Exorcist. It was incredible. In that game, as you had just play after play after play, where these running backs were running circles around the interior and inside linebackers of the Miami Dolphins. But you would have never thought, Lubie, that this was going to be Marino's one
and
only chance in a career that spanned nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
Of playing for the championship. So you just never know. And I think if you talk to Marino, now he's probably simmered down. He was seeing red whenever you brought this up before. And, naturally has, you ever see a guy just kind of step back and say, what do you got to bring up that thing that I never want to ring? Right? And it was just ridiculous to consider that he wasn't one of the great quarterbacks of all time because he never won a championship. I mean, is that like saying that Ernie Banks sucked at shortstop and first base for the Cubs? Of course, he was a great player.
He was great.
He never won a championship. It happened. So this may be. I mean, it's possible that this is certainly is the best shot that the Panthers have had to win the Stanley Cup. And could it be a long, long time before we get into this position again? Is that
you just
possible?
don't know. Look, in hockey, you have seen teams go on runs. The Penguins with Sid the Kid, the Penguins with Lemieux, Gretzky's teams, the Islanders. You had the Blackhawks win multiple championships, let alone going to championships. So hockey, as weird of a sport as it is, we have seen teams go on runs. This Panther team seems built for that, but you don't know. I mean, like, look, the Avalanche won it a couple years ago. They seem to be that team that was right there, if not better than the Panthers. And they're still a good franchise, but they're not knocking on the Stanley Cup door.
No.
Last year they fell way short. This year they were out in the second round, if not the first round. So it's not a guarantee. And this sport is fucking crazy. Weird shit happens. If you have a chance to be there and you're playing an older team that's good but not great, you should take care of business. You don't know when you're going to be back. You don't know who's going to be there, and you don't know what it's going to be. So that's 100% the case. Look, and the Celtics, it's the same thing. Like, the Celtics have had their chances and fallen short. This is their best opportunity. Like, of the teams they faced, whether it's conference finals or finals, I am leaning Mavs, but the Mavs are not the best team they will have faced and probably will face. They got a cakewalk fucking path to the finals this year. That's not to assume Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Embiid, like the Knicks with all those teams have the Mitchell injury and how the Pacers are coming, and to assume all 5 of those teams are going to have all their injuries again, and you'll have none. Sorry, Porzingis, but he's your 4th best player. You're going to not.
Porzingis, though, is generally being alluded to. I don't know if it's just because you hate the guy, but generally being alluded to as a very important component of the Celtics' chances of winning this series.
That's fine. Well, because it gives them an edge that the Mavs don't have. Who has a 7-footer that can score? Like,
yeah, no. I mean, the guy's 7'2", and he can hit the 3-point shot, and he at least gives you some kind of. I hate this phrase, but it's true. He at least gives you some rim protection.
Yeah, I mean, he's not rim protecting anything, but
short of just putting a big prophylactic over the thing.
He's a good rebounder. I mean, for a guy his height, he definitely rebounds. I'm not saying he doesn't matter to them, but to compare his injury to what other teams lost, I think is a joke. For the Celtics, what they went through this year, you can't guarantee that's going to happen again. So yes, I think for the Panthers and the Celtics, this is an opportunity that you can't afford to waste. Like, you need to take advantage of what's in front of you. The Mavs were a team that most people thought would lose in the first round. The Oilers are a team that a lot of people thought were going to lose in the first or second round. You're vastly better on paper. You're vastly better in how you've played than them. Go and get it done. So we'll see.
All right. So if you're smart, you're probably parlaying the Celtics to the Oilers in these 2 series that are coming up. I may have missed, misrepresenting this, but I thought I heard Windhorst say last night on TV. He was on with Scott Van Pelt. Windhorst, who, we sort of were not necessarily overwhelmingly flattering over the years towards Windhorst, not as a person. He seems like a perfectly decent guy. And actually, he's become sort of a sobering element on ESPN, is he not?
He's pretty honest.
Compared to Perkins and Stephen A. Smith.
Bullshit and the fan bullshit. He is pretty honest, at least. Like, he tells it as it is to some extent.
Seems to be making intelligent, well thought out observations. Not that always gets you home when it comes to wagering, because let's face it, there's a reason that everybody is engaging in Joe Pesci type language about midway through every ball game, and that's because you were fucking dead wrong once again, and you listen to the advice of some poor schmenk that was on TV or broadcasting, or that you read their work online or in a newspaper, if you're still getting one, which is a rarity. I saw this, Lubie. This was kind of disturbing, and I didn't watch the whole report. But there was a health report out last night, I believe, on network television that was saying spending too much time on the toilet doing like social media. And I immediately, pictured myself in there with the New York Post going cover to cover. Thinking, do I even bother turning to the news section? But they said that spending too much time on a toilet can be detrimental to your health somehow.
In what way? What does that mean?
I don't know. I mean, does it impact your prostate? I'm not sure what it is. But I mean, if that's the case, and this was a precedent set by my dad, who used to be able to read like War and Peace. I used to spend hours on the pot, and I picked up. I guess it's an inherited quality, but I've always been like that, right, Lubie? I mean, what do? I don't even have pants on. I go outside, get my New York Post, and that's it. go in there and hope to just enjoy filling myself with all kinds of sports minutia by going through the entire sports section. And then you get to page 6, of course, and you see what's going on with J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Are they together? I mean, what's going on with that?
I thought they
Together
got
or apart? What do you think?
They got a divorce. They didn't. I thought they.
I don't think they laid down the official
I thought they
divorce
did.
papers yet. No, I don't even think it's gotten near that stage. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, that's what was being reported. I have no idea.
They were just seen together at some basketball game. One of the Affleck's kids had a basketball game, and J-Lo showed up. But so did, like, not only his ex-wife, but the kid's mother, and
Yeah.
all kinds of garbage was gone. But I don't need that kind of drama in my life. Do you, Louis? I mean, you're leading a nice, straight and clean path to the wire.
Happy.
It's good. All right, so we like the Mavericks in the series taking the price there. It seems like the rest of the country is feeling the same way, which makes you wonder why the price hasn't come down significantly. But I believe they were like plus 185 to win the series. Is it a guarantee? I mean, do you feel totally comfortable doing that? No.
No.
But I would have to say that sometimes it's good to bet on a team that you think is in there with a legitimate shot, even though there are, things to overcome that other teams were unable to do. But I think you're right. I mean, what a putz and free ride it's been for the Celtics to this point, where Dallas has really had to battle all the way, and they've acquitted themselves extremely well. Because I didn't think Minnesota was any easy out.
No, I thought they'd lose in 5. They've gotten. That's the thing, is they've gotten better every round. They played better competition and handled them better. And it wasn't always Kyrie and Luka. They had their moments where they were off. PJ Washington's. He was on like the Hornets. I didn't even know who the hell PJ Washington was. He was like leading them in scoring at times. He was getting second in scoring. This Dort guy. Like, they have an interesting team, and they feel disrespected. And when professionals feel disrespected, that's the thing about the Celtics, is that they sort of like fuck around. Like, they know they're good. They're always a favorite. And it feels like they underwhelm. The Mavs are the opposite. Everyone's written them off all season long, all playoffs long, and all they've done is got better as the playoffs go on. Look, if you're looking at the better team, the Celtics have Tatum, Brown, Holiday, and right now Porzingis. The Mavs don't have that.
You can't forget Derek White. I know you don't care for him, but he's been an excellent player this season.
Good for them a lot of the playoffs, but if you look at the last 3 games, he fell back to earth very hard with a thud, and I think that's what you're going to see. I don't give a shit about.
Take your bald head and get the fuck out of here. That's what you're saying.
They have the better quote unquote team. The Celtics, they have the experience. They've been here before. I'm not fighting that, so I don't think it'll be a cakewalk for the Mavs necessarily, but I think the Mavs are playing better, have played tougher competition, and are playing better basketball, and there's something to be said for that.
All right. Probably going to both look really stupid at the end of the series with the Celtics sweep. All right. Maybe you want to look smart, and this is the way to do it. It's to be joined by Dave Gurggles Gergely, coming to us from Miami Lakes, and, of course, ready to conduct the trivia challenge for this week. Gurgs, how are you, my friend?
Doing wonderful. Great to be back in town after a 3-day jaunt to Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
Beautiful. I get up there in time to play some golf and catch up. We had about 300 people show up for the old-time athletes reunion from six different schools. Saw one guy that I played CYO basketball with in 8th grade. I haven't seen him since then.
Wow.
So,
how did he look?
He didn't have any hair. I still had some. But, beautiful. And then, I don't know if have you ever flown through the Charlotte airport?
Yes, many times.
It is a bigger airport than you think. Because we would land at E2 and I'd have to transfer to C11. You hurry to get there. And then on my way home Monday, we got hit, or Tuesday, actually, that storm came through Charlotte. My 7:15 plane ended up leaving Charlotte at 10 o'clock at night. But
wow.
That's no big deal. It was a great trip. Next one coming up will be August 15th. Stop in Allentown the 14th, and then 4 days in Saratoga.
Oh, beautiful. Wow. And of course, is today the day they start with Saratoga, or is it tomorrow?
Yeah, it's today. Although the forecast, unfortunately, looks like some rain up there, but they've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and great cards, and should be unbelievable.
Supposed to be a lot of rain. I don't know why I didn't get to this. How could I not have gotten to this page in my lengthy stint on the toilet seat this morning?
Maybe you got off once you read that article about spending too much time there.
No, it wasn't an article. That was on TV. They had Dr. John LaPook. Remember that? You know that guy from CBS? But I don't see any Saratoga entries for today in the New York Post. Did they just miss that or something? Yeah, you'd think they'd make a big deal out of it. All right, so I'll assume that it's happening today. That's good. That's good to know. The There's action later on, Saratoga. All right, Gurgs, and did you get asked a magic question? See, you would be the example of the guy that should be posing this question. And that is when you get to any kind of reunion, especially after many years, as you mentioned, going back to 8th grade, the first question, most often asked question, is what happened to you? But, did you do that to everybody just for fun?
I guess with a high school reunion, maybe yes. But when you do the old athletes, they all take for granted they're going to be broken down and shoveled. So they just say, "Hey, good to see you above ground." That's the end of it.
Hey, you're on the right side of the ground. That's all that matters. Which, I've come to appreciate that. Trust me, especially the way this year has begun for me with all of the various physical detrimental shit that's been going on. All right, we're ready for the trivia challenge. You can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Lubie's got the Landlubber's gift certificate he's giving away. And, of course, you will be there tonight. Correct, Lubie? You're still on for tonight? All right.
Yeah, we'll be there at 6:30. We get it going. And it is cheeseburger special day. And they make a great burger. I know they weren't one of the finalists, but they do make one of the great burgers around town.
Overlooked for the food, I believe. Largely overlooked.
And I'm sure they will have the NBA finals everywhere.
Yes.
So you can definitely get all your sports action. If there's WNBA or horse racing, Gurgs always finds himself watching some horse racing there. They cover it all. We cover it all. So check us out tonight at 6:30, Sunrise Boulevard and Pine Island in Plantation, Landlubbers.
You, I think, grew up, Gurgs, in more peaceful confines than I did. I don't know that it had the same international flavor. Growing up in Brooklyn, where every block was like another country. But and we were talking about this this morning on our morning briefing show on Caffeine TV and NoFilter.net. This business with Nancy Lieberman and Caitlin Clark, and Clark getting busted up every game by some cheap shot or whatever. It seems to be way out of line. Was there a time in your life where you realized, hey, sometimes you just have to fight the guy? Did that ever happen to you growing up in Pennsylvania, Allentown, Pennsylvania? Because that seemed like a very quiet, all-American
in the
town.
old neighborhood. I mean, our neighborhood was part of the town was Puerto Rican, part was African American.
Oh yeah, wow.
We were on the east side.
I didn't know they had black people there, Allentown.
Yeah. And then, more importantly, was one of my first teaching job was outside of Philly in Yeadon. It was 7 through 12, and every spring there was a race riot. And I was teachers. I was a teacher and a basketball coach back then, and I would be in the middle of breaking those things up. So I didn't get in many skirmishes myself. I just laugh through them and stay away. But breaking them up, by all means, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't a thing where, somebody was saying, hey, Gurggles is a pussy, man. Gurggles is this, Gurggles is that. And it was the same guy, just, bullying people all the time. And eventually you had to just say, hey, okay, I'm going to have to fight this guy if I'm going to preserve any part of my, reputation as a human being. I'm going to have to throw a couple of punches and get the fuck out of there. Nancy Lieberman is kind of saying that that's what Caitlin Clark needs to do. Go old school and just go ahead and, throw a punch at somebody, even if it's undeserved, unwarranted. Just go ahead and hit somebody, maybe at the start of the game. And then maybe these people will back off. All right, we're going to come back with the trivia challenge. Dave Gurggles Gergely here. Just a sec. Join us at 954-417-0070. Back with the challenge and a chance to win a Landlubber's gift certificate in a moment. Now that. You get like 6 of those burgers, too, for the, amount of money, the denomination of the gift certificate. 2, maybe? All right. It's 8:29. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup, All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now 1 mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
The Belmont Stakes coming up on Saturday. I don't know if we can get a hold of Kate and Bradar, one of our handicappers, for tomorrow's Degenerate Friday show, but be good to get some insight. Well, what do you think, Gurggles? I mean, you're not inclined to bet chalk. It seems like that's the lean virtually everybody. Do you see something in there we can make some money on?
Gee, I sure don't know. Sierra Leone looks like he fits the race real good.
Yeah.
Lucas is tough with his horse coming back, and they're not going 1.5 miles. So, I'm more inclined to look at some of the races around it. They've got some terrific grass races and some other things. I think. Have you ever been to the Belmont?
Yes, that's our first time I ever went to the so-called flats or thoroughbred racing was Belmont Stakes.
The Belmonts, yeah. Who did you see win?
I believe the winner that year was Arts and Letters. Arts
Wow.
and Letters. I'm going to say it was like circa 1969. A buddy of mine and I, they used to go to the harness races all the time, and we were definitely hooked on that at Roosevelt Raceway and Yonkers, less frequently because it was a bit of a schlep. We said, hey, why don't we go see the thoroughbreds? And I thought, that's a good idea. And then we started, it was going to be an annual trek, but I was back there the next day because I fell in love with it. I was there when Secretariat in 1973 won by 31 lengths, as well documented here on the show. I bet against Secretariat that day, and that should have been a sign from the gods of gambling that I should never go back. But here we are, like 50 years later. It's a great day. I was there probably 15 years ago was the last time, maybe a little bit further back than that, when my neighbor, Jim McKinley, used to get a table there. I was living in South Florida, obviously, at the time, and he said, hey, why don't you come to the Belmont Stakes? So I went, and they had a nice little spot in the clubhouse. I forget who the winner was that year, but it was not a Triple Crown being accomplished. And, yeah, it's always a good time. I would imagine it's going to be pretty festive there if the rain. When it's raining at Saratoga is not the best place to be.
Yeah.
Would you agree,
I think
Gurggles?
it looks good for the Belmont. I think the rain is today and tomorrow, according to what I saw. But we'll see. But I was there and saw your buddy win it. 1970 would be 77. Yeah, Seattle Slew with Jean Cruguet.
All right, the flying Frenchman. Yeah, Jean Cruguet. Hated us, Gurggles. Hated us. He was not the most pleasant of people to deal with in general, but he really did. My buddy Mike Fernandez and I were taking some video. We did our own video, like lower level video of races, stakes races, so we could put it on TV in this show that we were doing called Inside Florida Racing. And we had to be 100 or more yards away from the places where, on the turf course at Hialeah, where the horses were actually competing. And Cruguet came back after getting off his mount, and we're following him, and he ended up in a dead heat for the win in a stakes race. And he's cursing us out in French. I know enough French to know that he was not happy with us. And he wouldn't do an interview with us after the race. And we came to find out that he thought that our presence there near the finish line, 100 yards away from where they were actually racing, spooked his horse and cost him the race.
Wow.
I'm thinking, that's kind of a far-fetched deduction there, Jean. I mean, how about just saying a couple of words and, please, you could point your anger in another direction there. But for us to have influenced a photo to become a dead heat instead of a win by Kruger was preposterous, absolutely insane. All right, ready for the game here, and let's get it started. The Polyman, of course, probably I don't know. He at one time liked the wine steward to win the Preakness in the future book. But the wine steward, I just mentioned it to a friend of mine, Piscataway Ray, who we usually pool some money and go into this. And it's especially easy to pool the money this time because he owes me a stick. But notice it was never suggested that he give me back the $100. It was just suggested that we use it in the Belmont pool, which I don't know that I was going to invest $100 in this race because I'm not sure that the betting opportunities, it's nothing like the Kentucky Derby. But the Polyman did like the wine steward, although Piscataway Ray says that they were debating whether running the wine steward in the Belmont was probably a worse option than running him in the Ohio Derby.
Right, I read that.
I don't even think the connections believe in his horse, so that's not a good sign. All right, we ready to roll? In dedication to the Polyman, here is Dave Gurggles Gergely, the Trivia Challenge for a Landlubber's gift certificate. And our let's begin in a traditional fashion with Dave and some
easy baseball. This player on Knuckleballer Charlie Huff said, Charlie's unique. He can embarrass the batter on one pitch and his own catcher on the next. What's that? Ron Tingley, Darryl Stingley, Darryl Dawkins, or Connie Hawkins?
I still have this image covering the Marlins in their first season, and everybody was all excited about it. The media couldn't. They were falling all over each other trying to get Marlins coverage at that time. Imagine. Here we are like 30-some-odd years later, and nobody gives a shit. And Charlie Huff was sitting in this bar at the hotel in Melbourne where the team was staying. And he literally, you would have thought it was Burgess Meredith. I mean, he was kind of slumped over, had a cigarette in one hand, a scotch in the other. And I'm going, that's our opening day starter. I mean, he looked like one of the retirees that was just hanging out at the hotel to get autographs. It's crazy. All right, the Scrambler lands on Ron. Ron, you're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Let's go with A.
I'm feeling you get that right. You have 1 point.
All right, Ron, let's stick with horse racing for the Belmont. Believe it or not, Ron, the Belmont Stakes before 1921, the horses ran in a clockwise manner as they do in British racing. True or false?
Let's go true.
True?
That is true. Yeah.
By the way, I think it was High Echelon that won that race. Did High Echelon win a Belmont? Yeah, it wasn't Archer Brothers.
I remember him.
Yeah, High Echelon. Was part of an entry. I was only a winner because I bet on the other horse in the entry, and I thought that High Echelon had no shot. But that was it. I have 2. Nice job, Ron, going for 5.
All right, the NBA hoops. We're talking about Dallas Mavericks. Well, throughout the decade of the 1990s, the Dallas Mavericks failed to make the postseason throughout the whole decade. Then during the 2000-2001 season, they finally made the playoffs and won their opening round of the playoffs versus who was that? The Trailblazers, the Suns, the Jazz, or the Clippers?
Let's go Suns.
Suns.
I'll say Jazz.
No. Wow.
It was the Jazz. They beat the Jazz 3-2 in that opening round.
Very nice. All right. Still live, very much so, Ron. Chance at 7 points.
All right, Ron, baseball. On this date, in 1989, the New York Mets turned their first triple play in 7 years, but they lost the game to whom?
Ooh, these are tough, Kirks.
The Cubs, the Braves, the Phils, or the Reds?
Let's go Reds.
Reds. Incorrect.
It was the Chicago Cubs beat them 8-4.
Well, hang around, Ron. You may still be in the finals.
Brutally difficult set of questions there. Dave Gurggles Gergely very much on his toes today. Is Ron bombs out, but you never know in this game. We could be coming back to you, so you can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. It's a trivia challenge here on South Florida Live. Lubie's taking your calls. Dave Gurggles Gergely. When he's not asking questions, when he's not betting horses, always is delighting in lighting up a Perdomo cigar.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it took an extra one up for me. We have a tradition when I go up for this old-time athletes reunion.
Yeah.
One of the guys Is a guy named Jim Boros, played on the PGA, no relation to Julius. Him and 2 other friends, Bobby Rakowski and Barry Morrell, and I'm the youngest of the 4. We play golf on that Monday. And Bobby's a cigar smoker. I brought him a nice Perdomo. I had a Lot 23. We played a beautiful course called the Old Homestead, a converted farm with lots of hills. But you don't have to go all the way to Pennsylvania to get a Perdomo cigar, or to the Maldives like you see in that picture. You can go to 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto, a little east of the Home Depot on the south side, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends, come out here to play golf, and you can get them right in our pro shop. We sell Perdomo cigars right here at Miami Lakes Golf Club. But 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., go in there, see Nubia. She'll direct you to that humidor that our late great friend, the Mad Dog, built. And what a selection of cigars. I saw Nick yesterday. Looks terrific. Yeah. 3rd generation. His son involved now as well, Nick Jr. Whether it's a Lot 23, whether it's a Maduro or Connecticut wrapper, the 20th anniversary, the Edición de Silvia, they make them perfect one at a time. So this weekend, when the Panthers pitch a shutout versus the Edmonton Oilers, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
What's your prediction there, Gurggles? Sounds like you're leaning home.
I like the Panthers in 6.
You are with the universe on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a standard one. Edmonton, I watched the Edmonton game.
Yeah.
They won with only 8 shots,
Yes.
I think, from the whole offensive team.
10 was the final total. Yeah, they had like 6 going to the third
10
period.
shots, and that Connor David is something special.
He's great. Yeah, no doubt about it.
I just think that the Panthers, and I might be wrong on this, I think hockey, of all the sports, chemistry matters the most among teammates.
That's what we hear. Yes, that's what
it's huge.
Yeah, and they just seem to just get along. Like there's no prima donna. To Chuck might make the most speeches, but man, everybody seems to toe their weight, and that's what's exciting about them.
They do seem to be. I mean, this is cliche city, but very much on the same page, very much in sync. And it does seem to be a huge part of it. The emotional attachment and climate in the so-called dressing room in hockey seems to be a huge, huge factor. And yet, you know what's impressive? It does seem like teams in this league are really, really together.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, you'll see this, you know, kind of camaraderie and you just sort of sacrificing your ego for the betterment of the team almost across the board in the NHL. It's really, really, really great. No matter how, you know, well known the player is, that they all seem to sacrifice for each other, and it's a big part of the sport. You know, I especially love the intros when they do the starting lineup thing. They take in the locker room for that, and they go, "Okay, I need Miko over here. Right wing is going to be so and so." I mean, and they really get into it. I don't think you're seeing NBA players feeling like that.
No, it's a rare. It's so funny because you'll hear coaches talk and you'll watch it, and we have are friendly with coaches, and you'll watch it, and the players are like in outer space. They're talking. Hockey is the one sport where, like, when the coach talks,
they're all in.
Especially when they take those timeouts, they like huddle around each other, and it's like when I coach my little kids, they're all like in it, and their eyes are open. And it's like, wow, that's impressive.
It's a different game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, and it takes a different time to actually sustain any kind of level of competence in that game. You talk about the Caitlin Clark thing. I mean, come on. You think any of these hockey players are backing down? It wouldn't matter who is coming at you. I mean, you could have Peter Warrell coming at you and be the smallest guy on the ice, and you know, and Dino Ciccarelli is banging it out with this guy. All right, ready for our next set of questions here. Dave Gurggles Gergely. So far, nobody with a total worthy of being in the finals. Here we go.
All right, in honor of the Belmont horse racing, this well-known gambler on his philosophy on horse race betting said, you know, betting on heavy favorites is like bending over to pick up pennies in front of a bulldozer. What's that? Diamond Jim Brady, Slim Shady, Slim Pickens, or Boone Pickens?
All right, roll a Scrambler or Lubie. And look at that, man. I like the way it flashed up in the camera there. Lands on Mike. Mike, you're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir. Michael, row your boat ashore. Hallelujah. Did we lose Mike?
I hear him. Hey, Mike.
Mike, how are you?
Hello. Let's go A.
Hey, all right.
Are you on a payphone somewhere on the Palmetto? I mean,
No, I was up. Headphones were plugged in. I had to yank them out because you couldn't hear me.
oh, okay. All right. Well, you do have 1 point. So regardless of
All right.
your status here, you're okay. You're in the game. All right, there you go.
Let's go back to the Belmont for you. True or false? believe it or not, in the 1973 win of the Belmont Stakes by Secretariat paid $220 to win, but $240 to place.
Wow.
True or false?
That sounds true.
True.
It is true.
Nice.
Yeah, it is true.
Always bet place. That was a Polyman's grandmother's dying words. 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, let's see if we can stick with it. We'll stick with the Belmont for you. Which of the following post positions have won the most Belmont Stakes run at Belmont Park? It's been run several places. So which of the following post position won the most Belmont Stakes that were run at Belmont Park? 1, 2, 3, or 7?
Wow, odd sequence.
Let's go 3.
3.
Actually, number 1 post has won it 24 times at Belmont.
Wow, that seems surprising, right? Because in general, what at Pimlico would you want the 1 post because of the tight turns, and if you have some speed, you're in good shape. I know at Churchill it's considered a coffin in terms of a place to start. All right, we now are shooting for 7 points here with Mike.
Right.
Yeah. 2.
All right, here we go. Hoops. Between 1957 and 1969, the Boston Celtics, who were in this championship this year, they won every championship in that era but 2. One was won by the 76ers during that time. The other was won by was that the Knicks, the Lakers, the Bullets, or the Hawks?
Oh, boy. Let's go Hawks.
I'm going to say
The
Hawks.
St. Louis Hawks in 1959.
Good for you.
With Bullet Bob Pettit won it.
I
That's
never
right.
would have thought that. Good for you. All right. Well, you're
Nice
signed
job,
up,
Mike.
sir. Mike, so hang around.
Puts
You'll
up
be
a big 7 spot there to get us going. So we have Mike with 7 and wide open to challenge at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to join us here on the phone lines. How do you feel about this whole situation with the Belmont being run at Saratoga, 1.25 miles different distance?
I think
has there been a Triple Crown winner? What would that have sort of been a denigration?
It's going to put some new excitement into it because everybody loves Saratoga, and the people who don't get there or see it in the summer will now be exposed to it on national television. And our buddy Frank Miramati is going to call all 4 days of races.
Yes, a very nice distinction for Frank. I mean, come a long way from those days, the early days at Hialeah Park.
Yeah, I'm so proud of him. I told him when I met him and I sent you that photo how proud we were of him because we know what he's kind of gone through. You know him better than anybody, and he's done so good.
When he was calling me to try this predated Zell and Vembo or whatever, but when he was calling me to try and wire 2 sticks while he was calling races at Great Lakes Downs somewhere in some horsefuck town in Michigan. I don't know that you saw him doing a Belmont at Saratoga during a special 4-day meet, but that's testament to perseverance and the fact that you kind of carve your own path, which Frank Miramati certainly did. All right, wow, this is great. We're ready for our next set of questions, and we got our players lined up here. So go ahead, fire away, Gerbs.
All right, hockey. This player expressing disbelief after receiving a misconduct penalty from the ref said, "I told him to just drop the fucking puck. I didn't suggest his mother had swum after troop ships during the Navy or anything." That's a great one from Mark Messier, Yvonne Cornway, Yvonne De Jesus, or Jesus Alou.
All right, here's a scrambler, and it's going to work its way all the way out to Las Vegas, Nevada, where it's early in the morning, and it's always a pleasure. This man puts up my favorite by far social media posts. We all live vicariously through some of his wagering antics, and always rooting him in. And I understand, Sheldon G, that you have a huge position with the Dallas Mavericks in this thing.
Yeah, I do. I think they're going to win in 3 games at Boston. I think when they play Boston, they're going to win the 3 games.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay, very good. And you caught this thing, what, during the regular season sometime at like ridiculous odds, 30-1, something like that?
No, last week.
Last week?
Last week. Yeah, as soon as it was decided on who will be in the playoffs.
Oh, very nice. Good job. All right, Sheldon G, of course. Hoping that Luka goes for 60 tonight and buries the Celtics along with a lot of other people. You have 1 point. You're in the game.
Although I did hear another prop. Under over 2.5 road wins for this series, combining both teams.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Well, Sheldon G's thinking just the Mavs alone are going to take it. So.
If he gets the Mavs home, that's it. Dinner's on Sheldon G for the next 10 years. It's going to be great. All right. Your true false question. Here we go.
All right. True false. Here we go. We'll stick with the Belmont. For most of its history, the Belmont Stakes has been run on a Saturday, generally the first or second Saturday in June. Believe it or not, the first ever Belmont Stakes was on a Thursday. True or false?
I'll say that's true.
It is. June 19th, 1867 was the very first one.
Nice.
Wow. I think I was there that day with Eddie Kaplan. We weren't old enough to get in, but we snuck in under the turnstile in the clubhouse there, where they're still charging for admission. All right, 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, Sheldon, baseball. When Francisco Rodriguez saved 62 games in 2008, he set a major league single-season record. Whose record did he break? Was it Eric Gagne, Bobby Thigpen, Trevor Hoffman, or Dennis Eckersley?
Oh, tough one.
Dennis Eckersley.
The Eck.
That'd be Gagne.
Correct.
Bobby Thigpen in 1990.
Oh, Jesus.
I think that was his only good season, Bobby Thigpen. Was he a Florida State guy, Thigpen? Or,
I don't know.
He was good for a while, but I didn't realize he was that good. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, he had a couple of big years as a reliever after kind of bombing, I think, as a starter. That's what I want to say about Thigpen. Okay, going for 7 points here. Time for the lead, Sheldon G.
Let's go back to the Belmont. Who's the only rider in the 20th century to win 3 consecutive Belmonts?
Okay.
Pat Day, Lafitte Pinkai, Angel Cordero, or Jerry Bailey?
Oh, God.
I'll say Jerry Bailey.
No.
I think it was Lafitte.
Lafitte Pinkai,
Yeah. I feel like he's the answer.
All right,
but don't worry, Sheldon, you're going to be in the
Sheldon.
finals.
Stick around. You could be back in the finals. It just depends how the rest of this goes. Oh, we're going to have them in the finals.
I like today.
We're going right to the finals? All right, very good.
Good idea.
Stay right there, Sheldon G. Stay right there.
Sheldon has a horse he wants to give out. What's that horse?
Yeah, what do you got?
In the third race at Saratoga today, BD Saints, Michael Maker trainer, Raymond Vasquez, 8-1 in the morning line. First time this year he's coming out. First time LASIK.
This is better than getting it from Andy Byron. Sheldon G. It's BD Saints. BD Saints. 8-1 in the morning line and 2-1 in the heart and mind of Sheldon G and all of his fans. No, that's going to be great. Let's hope he goes off at 20-1.
Hang around, Sheldon.
All right, stick around, Sheldon. We are going to have the finals coming up here, and you're going to oppose Mike for the championship of today's edition of the Trivia Challenge. One more word while Lubie puts that together, Gurggles, about Perdomo Cigars, our good friends.
Yeah. I mean, Father's Day is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. What a great gift. Go to 5150 Northwest 167th Street, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. See Nick and the gang. Get a box of cigars for Dad. You're not sure what kind of cigar Dad likes. They have a variety pack you can buy so he can try 6 different cigars, or get him a gift certificate to Perdomo Cigars. Let him pick out what he wants himself. Maybe your dad has plenty of cigars on hand and he needs a brand new humidor. You can get it at Nick's as well. A nice lighter for Dad, one of the flame torches to make it nothing more frustrating than matches that don't light up your cigar. So go to Perdomo Cigar Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go online. See what they got to offer at www.perdomocigar.com. So in the third race today, when Ramon Vasquez wins for Sheldon, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Come on, BD Saints. Boy, we'll all be screaming somewhere around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Should be great. All right. I believe, are we set, Lubie? Set for the finals here? Yes. Okay, ready to go. Gurggles is going to fire off a question. Call out your name if you want to answer. Nobody answers right away. We offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first choice. We'll go back and forth until we have a winner. Good luck, gentlemen, for the Landlubber's gift certificate and the distinction of being a champion on the Trivia Challenge. Here is the great Dave Gurggles Gergely.
All right, baseball. On this date in sports history, the New York Yankees beat the White Sox 12-0 This Yankee hit 3 consecutive home runs in 3 consecutive at-bats in that game. Who was that Yankee?
Or it was whom? And
Yes.
here's multiple choice.
Oh, one second.
Was it?
I lost.
wait a
you.
minute.
1 second.
Okay.
Sorry.
We had drop off here. So who was a Yankee on this date in baseball history? So what are we talking? We're talking June 6th. And,
Say it again. Mike wasn't there. Say it again. I'm sorry about that.
19. Okay, here we're going to get the question all over again. Here's the
sure.
final.
You got
Good luck.
everybody?
Yeah,
Yes.
here we go.
It's Mike
Okay.
and Sheldon. Yes.
That's okay. 1965 on this date in sports history, the Yankees beat the White Sox 12-0, and this New York Yankee hit 3 consecutive home runs in 3 consecutive at-bats that day. Who was
All
it?
right, who was it?
Was it Moose Skowron, Tom Tresh, Hector Lopez, or Bob Serve?
Wow, I would have gotten this wrong. Anybody? Mike, who was it?
Hector Lopez.
Hector, number 11. No. 3 left for Sheldon G in Las Vegas.
Was it Moose Skowron, Tom Tresh, or Bob Serve?
Tom Tresh.
Tresh. Yes.
Tom Tresh. Yes.
Tom Tresh, shortstop, converted to left field. And Sheldon G wins. All right. So we'll be lighting it up. I don't know if Landlubbers has a location in Las Vegas yet, do they?
Yeah, inside
No?
the Circus, right behind.
Right after you get your 99-cent shrimp cocktail there. Where, wow, you talk about an oxymoron.
Pick it up someday.
Yeah, when you come down here, we'll get it.
All right, sounds good. We'd love to see you. Sheldon G,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget his pick in the third race today, Saratoga. BD Saints. Gurggles, are you going to be out there dabbling? What's going to happen with you? Are
We
you?
shall see. I got a busy day here at the golf course, but I may be able to break away a little bit. If they're on the turf, I'll definitely be there. And if not, I'll try and catch up with Mike tonight. I don't want the Chronics to win.
Okay. Oh, no, it sounds great. All right. Thanks so much for being with
Wow,
us, of
guys.
course, Gurggles, as always. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to today's edition of the Trivia Challenge. Later on today, we are at Pizza Craft, which now, which came first, Taco Craft or Pizza Craft? This is all part of the same organization.
They have, but I don't know. I know Taco Craft has multiple locations. I think Pizza Craft has one. So I
And you
guess
say this is in the downtown area of Fort Lauderdale? Whereabouts?
They
Do
also
we know?
saying Himarshi. I mean, Himarshi's literally.
Marshy. Oh, okay. All right. So that's around the Los Olas thing, except you
Yeah, it's
go
like
west
Riverfront.
instead of east.
It's Riverfront.
Yeah.
It's off of Broward.
Okay. It should be a lot of fun today. That's 1 o'clock. We had a great time yesterday, huh? That restaurant, Luke's.
Luke was great.
You know, it's always going to be somebody that's not happy. And Luke's, it's not like you walk in there and you're thinking, wow, well, what a showroom this is in terms of the
it's
dining area. But the food is the starter, man. I still have some of those flavors really just stuck with me all through
Food is
yesterday. It was
And-
fantastic.
Creative, elevated, and he uses really high quality ingredients. And that's
Yes.
the problem is when you're doing stuff like that, your prices can only be at a certain place. That's the thing. And people go in to see a small place like Davy, and they're like, okay, it'll be this price point. But the dude's giving you lobster wraps. Like, what do you want a lobster wrap to be? Like the thing we had yesterday, it was a fish
Getting
cake
some frozen cod from
It
restaurant
was
people.
shrimp,
Yeah.
mahi, and some other fish in a fish cake with a pineapple reduction. And I like, what do you think that's going to, I mean, that's going to,
That was delicious, by the way.
that was one of the greatest
Yeah.
dishes I've had this year. Like that was fantastic, but like you have to pay for stuff like that. And it is what it is. You know, I
He's
get
a
it.
great guy, too.
Well, they do a good job, and it's him and his wife running it, and they have close friends involved, and they do a really good job. And it's a small place, it's quaint, and but it's very high quality and really high in taste, but
Yeah.
also a casual vibe.
I didn't really see a menu with prices on it, so I wouldn't.
It's in the $20 to $30 range. I mean,
Well, that's
stuff
very normal, though. I mean, almost cheap compared to a lot of places,
And he does
right?
a happy hour, and he does it. I think it's all the way through Friday from like 3 to 6. Now the
Yeah.
problem is if you get there at 7:45, you're not going to get happy hour prices. You can mention the lunch spot,
get the happy hour? I was behind an accident on
mention us, and we love you, but
Yeah.
that's weird. It's 8 o'clock on a Friday. No, you're not getting happy hour prices at 8 o'clock on a fucking Friday. Like,
This
that's
place is getting really fucking crowded, though. Lubie, would you agree? I mean, South Florida in general.
just crazy. This is the off season. I know
It
some
took me
places-
an hour to get there yesterday.
But I'm
what
not
should have been a
seeing it.
30-minute ride.
Out west, and when I travel out west, out east, I'm not seeing it. So I'm sorry some restaurants are feeling it, but the traffic has not alleviated at all
No, zero.
into June.
If anything, it seems worse. It really
It's
does. I don't know if it's just an arbitrary bad luck I experienced yesterday, but there were minor accidents. none of which, when you passed them, you thought should cause this kind of delay on both sides of 95. So I'm just sitting there in traffic at noon on a Wednesday and thinking, isn't it June? Shouldn't these people be out of here by now? I mean, let's hope they're all headed for the airport.
Exactly.
I mean, it's bad enough you got to, I don't mind like excessive heat. I don't know about you, Libby. Sheldon G was posting something about Las Vegas is 110 degrees today.
Oh, Jesus.
But is the 110-degree day in Las Vegas actually an alleviation from the heat compared to like a 90-degree day here? What do you think?
I mean, 90, no, but when we get to 96 to 98, I would take 110 dry over 98 humid any day of the week. Are you kidding me? Like, it's just insane here. But I don't, it is what it is. We have air conditioning. So,
yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the reason I left. A lot of people are like, the heat, I can't take the heat. Yeah, but I can't take the cold. So,
my advice would have been, if you were in Vegas, of course, head for the nearest casino.
Exactly. They have plenty of air conditioning.
You'll be freezing your ass off. Then you come outside and it's like Schmidt City. All right, we have to run. We'll see you guys from Pizza Craft later on today with the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show. Always a lot of fun. And that'll be at 1 o'clock this afternoon right here on South Florida Live and the Let's Eat South Florida page, which I do think it's had an impact on Mayo's overall psyche, don't you?
I don't know.
Being the administrator there, I'm not sure it was a favorable impact either. What do you think? In general, have you seen the manifestation of a little bit of bitterness in formerly just gregarious, carefree, happy-go-lucky Mike Mayo, where he does have a little bit of an edge to him compared to what he was when he was a sports writer, and it's all fueled by the negativity that's up on Let's Eat South Florida.
Yeah. Definitely changed his perspective on things.
It is funny too, because I walked into this place at Mickey's downtown, and there was nobody at the front, desk there to greet you, and I'm standing there for a couple of minutes. And if I was writing a review on Let's Eat South Florida, I would have left right then in a huff, right? And instead, what would have been the thing? It would have been my loss. I would have missed out on not only a great evening, but what I thought was pretty remarkable in terms of today's, what is the big concern in restaurants? One of the big ones is price, as you were just mentioning. And they're giving you 40% off everything.
That's amazing.
But instead of experiencing that and thinking how great it was, a terrific band that was playing there, you could have left in a huff because you got all verklempt about the fact that nobody greeted you in the first 5 seconds that you were in the place. That could set you off if you were in a Mayo, just reading, post after post about, well, we stood there for 5 minutes and nobody recognized us. It's like, well, who the fuck are you? I mean, Tom Cruise? I don't know. Should they have known that you would? I mean, but look, stuff happens. Not everything works out perfectly. So don't let it taint your viewpoint of life. All right, we got to run. Hopefully this show hasn't tainted your viewpoint of life. And we're glad to contribute to any happiness you experience. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you at 1 o'clock with the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:03.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.